Alright guys, BLM here, time for another video. This is going to be a review of Different Shade of Pink, which is episode 20-something, something of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It's a three-parter. This episode is very notable for the departure of Kimberly and Kat becoming the Pink Power Ranger. So the first part of the episode starts off with Kimberly practicing gymnastics when all of a sudden a famous coach comes up, tells her that he would like to train her. So she accepts. But then Bulk and Skull think that her coach is a spy after watching some news report. So pretty much what they do for the remainder of the episodes is try to find out if he actually is a spy and prove that he's a spy and stuff. Rita and Zed find out that Kimberly needs to put her time into gymnastics, so they decide to send a whole bunch of monsters out, 3 different groups to distract the Rangers and to piss off Kimberly, which I never understood why Rita always does this. She does like stupid things just to piss off certain Rangers. So the Rangers split up and fight the 3 different groups, and they're pretty much defeated. I mean, they get beaten up and everything, and they decide that they have to call on Kimberly. So they call Kimberly, and she's actually about to practice with the new coach. However, she ends up telling him that she needs to leave, and he ends up being pissed off. What I never understood is why didn't she say that it's something really important, something like her family dying or something like that, because the coach kept on saying that this is something that is that would take all your time and dedication. And I think that if she said that like someone in her family was injured, that would have made it seem like reasonable for her to leave. But she just leaves without giving an explanation, which just makes him pissed off. But Kim arrives and helps out Tommy fight off Goldar and Rito. But even with Kimberly's help, all the Rangers are defeated. But Billy and Adam and Rocky and Aisha finally meet up with Kimberly and Tommy, and they finally get to work together and defeat the enemies, but they escape before they're actually defeated. Then right when Kimberly gets back to the youth center to train her for coach, she ends up having to go to battle once again. And during this scene we see Kat, who is pretty much just watching Kimberly. And she has a flashback where she remembers that she used to be a diver, and they show more of it later. The Rangers end up using the shark cycles to fight off Goldar, Rito, and the 2 other monsters that they had for this episode. Which this is the only time that they ever use the pink shark cycle. And it's actually the last time they ever used the shark cycles, I believe. I'm not 100% positive on that, but I believe this is the last time, because they weren't really used that often anyway. But they're able to defeat the monsters, and Rito and Goldar escape. But all of a sudden, Kimberly passes out. Tommy then drops off Kimberly at the youth center, where she asks Ernie to allow her to train for the rest of the night. He says okay, so he allows her to stay in there even though the youth center is closed. And Kat is still watching her, and she starts to regain her memories, and she finally somehow ends the spell. And it was kind of explained by Alpha or Zordon in the next episode, but it's just kind of weird. It's revealed how she got brainwashed, and it's also revealed that she got injured while doing the dive that was shown previously. So finally she becomes a good person again, and goes to Kim to tell her what she's done and apologize. However, right when she gets there, Kimberly falls and hits her head and passes out. This is also the final episode where Kimberly morphs. This is pretty much the end of part 1. Part 2 starts off at the hospital, which is awesome because they never show the hospital in Power Rangers. This is the first time they ever showed the hospital in Power Rangers. So Kimberly goes to the hospital, she recovers, she's going to be okay. So Tommy and Billy are there. But what's so weird to me is that the doctor tells them that Kimberly should only see one of them at a time. I don't understand why. Billy then tells Rocky, Aisha, and Adam that Kimberly is okay, but right after this, Rito attacks them, and they call for Tommy and Billy's help, which they come and join the battle. Catherine goes to talk to Kimberly and tells her the truth, and she tells her that she was under Rita's spell and everything she's done, and Kimberly just forgives her like right away. And then the Rangers, done for their battle, come back, and they just forgive her. Do you not realize what she's talking about? Like, she was the fucking cat this entire time that you were fucking rubbing on her back like it was nothing. And also, you allowed the pink power coin to be stolen. You fucking did all this shit. Yeah, everyone's also like, oh yeah, it's okay. Oh. After that, they go to Rita and Zed's palace, where there's this one scene I don't understand. Rito Yeah, pretty much Zed and Rita are telling Rita that he's worthless, he hasn't done anything, which, are they like forgetting Ninja Quest? I mean, in freaking Ninja Quest, he gave him the Tango Warriors. He released that vampire monster that almost defeated Ninjor, and he actually defeated the Thunder Zords and the White Tiger Zord, and took away the Rangers' powers for quite a while. So, he's done nothing? I don't understand this. But Rita and Zed release a new monster that's like a garbage can type monster. I don't even know. But he captures Kat. The Rangers then appear in Morph and fight off the Tangas that are there. And then Kat escapes by stepping on the monster's foot? I don't know. Rita and Zed then grow the monster, and the Rangers call him the Shogun Zords. And the monster traps him in the garbage can because he's a garbage monster thing. But they're able to escape. They then form the Shogun Megazord and are able to defeat the monster. Rita and Zed then realize that they could use Ninjor, who they took in a previous episode, and use him as a bargaining chip for getting Kat back. And that's pretty much where the episode ends. This is actually the only episode out of the 3 that actually used Sentai footage. The only Sentai footage that was used was the Megazord battle against the garbage monster thing. So on to part 3, where the Rangers ask Zordon for help to how to solve this problem, like what they should do. And he pretty much tells them they should make their own decision. So while this is happening, Kat and Kim are talking, and Kat talks about her past, that she got injured, and that she was so close to getting a gold medal or whatever, but she got injured at the last second on the final thing, and she lost by 1 point. And then Kat meets up with the Rangers and tells them that she wants to do this. She wants to go through with the deal. She wants to be traded for Ninjor. But then Tommy says that I have a plan. They create a plan where they're going to have Kat in a force field so that they can't take her back, while also trying to get Ninjor back. But the plan fails when it turns out that the vase that Rita gave them, that was supposed to have Ninjor in it, was empty. After that, Kat gets captured by Rita and she gets put in the cage. After that, Kat tricks Rita into giving him a massage. I don't know, but she is able to steal the keys and get herself out of the cage, and finds the pink power coin that was just, for some reason, right next to the cage. She gets it, but right when she gets it, Rita appears, and Rita starts chasing her around the podium, which is just a retarded moment. Probably one of the only truly bad moments of this episode, in my personal opinion. But Billy finds a way to transport her back to the command center, and he does so. After that, Kat gives Kimberly the power coin. After that, they go to the gymnastics competition where Kimberly ends up winning, and everyone decides to organize a surprise party for her. So right when she gets to the surprise party, the coach, I forgot his name, like Mr. Schmidt or something like that, he tells her that he wants to bring her back to Florida to train her and stuff like that. And she thinks it's an enormous opportunity, but she doesn't want to leave her friends, the other Rangers. And so they go to the command center, and they start talking about it. And the other Rangers convince her that she should go, that it's a big opportunity, and it really would have a big impact in her life. And Tommy's really sad, but he knows that's the best thing for her to do. So because of this, they'll have no Pink Ranger. So Kimberly asks for Kat to be transported to the command center, which she is, and then she decides to let Kat become the new Pink Ranger. So she gives Kat the power coin, and Kat is the new Pink Ranger. Zordon then thanks Kim for being a Power Ranger, and she says her goodbyes. They end the episode of them doing a cheer and stuff. And this is the final appearance of Kimberly in original footage in the television show. Of course, she appears later in the Turbo movie, but this is the last one on actual TV. Now, part 3, no Rangers ever morph in this episode. I think there's a small fight earlier, but they don't morph. They just go into their ninja modes. So really, there's no morphing in this episode. And I guess I'll talk about my overall thoughts. I really like these 3 episodes. I think while parts of the episode could be looked at as filler, I think it really utilizes a 3-parter to the best that they can. Because most of the time when you have 3-parters in Power Rangers, it just feels like parts of it are very boring. Yet this one didn't. This one was very interesting from the beginning to the end, in my personal opinion. I also think this is the best exit out of the Power Rangers. Because in Mighty Morphin and even in Zeo, Rangers were leaving. And they always did it pretty horribly. I mean, because most of them actually just walked out on set. And even the ones that didn't, though, they just didn't do it that well. Like Aisha and stuff like that. Like Aisha and Jason. Or Jason for the second time, I should say. But Kimberly, I think this was done perfectly. I think that this is the best that they could have done. They set it up from previous episodes. They set it up that she was thinking about leaving, and she eventually left at the end of this episode. And I think this was brilliant. I mean, like Aisha, when she left, we didn't even get to see them leave. Like in Passing of the Torch, there was only one fucking episode. Well, this, I believe it was over, like 7 episods that pretty much explained why she was leaving, and I think it was done perfectly. So yeah, I'll give part 1 a 9. I think this was a good introduction to this story arc. It was a 3-parter. It introduced pretty much everything it needed to. It had great battles, even though I didn't necessarily like the Shark Cycle stuff. But, I mean, the actual battle that happened was actually pretty cool. And it pretty much shows how dedicated Kimberly is to both being a ranger and to gymnastics, with her practicing gymnastics throughout the night and her leaving that famous coach to do Power Ranger stuff. I think it just shows that Kimberly's a very dedicated person, and definitely shows improvement from, like, Day of the Dumpster, where she just was a very ditzy, just girl that, like, valley girl, pretty much. I'll have to give part 2 also a 9. I mean, I think it was also a great episode. There's a little bit, like, a couple flaws here and there, but I mean, overall, it was just a great episode. Like, I didn't like that Rito was being demoralized, even though he's actually done stuff in the past, and he even admitted himself. He said that I haven't done anything. I don't understand this. Like, do you not remember you destroying the Thunder Swords? It just makes no sense, but everything else was great. It showed the hospital, which I thought was a really awesome scene, actually. Again, the doctor thing with him saying only one person can visit her is kind of weird. But everything else is great. The Megazord battle and stuff like that is okay. I mean, it was taken from Sentai. Just good episode overall. And the final part, I'll give a 10. I think that this episode was done very well. I mean, the Rangers actually thought of a good plan on their own for them to keep Cat and Ninjor, even though it didn't really work out. But I think that it was actually a pretty good plan. The only problem was that Billy completely forgot to check the source of the force field, but whatever. But I do think it was probably one of the better episodes where the Rangers don't morph. Because usually in episodes where the Rangers don't morph, it's very boring and it's very dragged out. However, this one was actually really good and it had a lot of action throughout, and it really didn't leave you bored the entire time. It pretty much explains the backstory of Kat as well. And I think the exit of Kimberly was just perfect. I mean, I don't think they could have done it any better way. I think any other way it probably would have been awkward. I think this was the best way to have her say goodbye in the command center and everything, with Zordon thanking her and everything. I think it was a great moment. I'll give this 3-part overall a 9. It's a great episode. It does have a few flaws here and there, so it's not perfect. I mean, it is close to perfect, but I mean, there's just some stuff that just really annoys me in here. But overall, it's just a phenomenal episode, and yeah, I guess thank you for watching.